For this project, I'll be using 2 color yarns. I'll be using green and pink, and of course, I'll leave a link in the description box below on where you can get this as well. And you'll also need a 3.5mm crochet hook. Now I'm going to be starting with the green for my base. Now take the yarn and make 31 chain stitches. Now after you've created 31 chain stitches, we're going to make a double crochet into the 3rd chain stitch from our hook. To do that, wrap the yarn over our hook and insert the hook into the 3rd chain, hook it to the yarn and pull up a loop. And with 3 loops on our hook, we're gonna yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and place it through the last 2 hoops. Now I also want you to place crochet markers at the top of this first stitch here, and place another crochet marker to the bottom of the stitch there. Now once that's done, complete a single double crochet going all the way down. So I'll do a few to demonstrate. Yarn over our hook and insert it into the next stitch. Pull up a loop, and we're going to have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're just going to complete 1 double crochet going all the way down. And in the last stitch, now we're going to go ahead and use this as a foundation for our base, and in each corner we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of these stitches. Now to do a double crochet in the first stitch that's here, we're going to yarn over our hook and we're going to insert it in the first stitch that's here. So go ahead and insert it inside the stitch and pull up a loop. Now you see that we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull it through all 3 loops. And then we're going to yarn over and pull yarn through the loop that was on the hook. So this is our first double crochet. Now we will have 2 double crochets in this stitch, but I'm going to leave it at 1 for now and complete my last stitch in this stitch right here. Now to continue, we're going to complete 2 double crochets on this double crochet right here, which would have been the last double crochet of the row. So yarn over, pull up a loop. We're going to do the double crochet as we've been doing so far. And once you've completed this stitch here, go ahead and place a marker to the top of the stitch, because this is where we'll be closing out the round. And then complete the second double crochet on that stitch. And in the stitch right here, we're going to be doing 2 double crochets. So 1 2. Placing the tail forward, we're just going to go ahead and yarn over it to hide it, and we're going to be doing 1 double crochet in each stitch going down. So yarn over and place it into the next stitch, which is right below the stitch here. Pull up a loop and complete the double crochet, and we're just going to do that going all the way down. Now continue the double crochets until we're at the end, and I'll see you when we're at this marker here. Now go ahead and remove your marker from the last stitch here, and in that stitch go ahead and complete 2 double crochets. Now on the outer portion of the stitch, and this would have been the 2 chain stitches that we would have skipped in the beginning, we're going to go ahead and place 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, and then we're going to remove our marker from the top of the stitch here, and we're going to place 2 double crochets inside that stitch. Now in each stitch at the top, we're going to go ahead and place 1 double crochet. Before I start though, I'm going to place one of my markers in the stitch right here where I already have 1 double crochet. Now remember, we should be placing 2 double crochets inside this stitch. So we already have 1, and I'm going to go ahead and complete 1 double crochet in each stitch going down. Now remove your marker, and we're going to place 1 double crochet in the stitch right here. So in total there are 2 double crochets in this stitch. Now to close out the round, make this loop a bit bigger. We're going to remove this crochet marker here, and in this stitch where the crochet marker was, we're going to insert our hook from the back, hook the loop on the hook, and we're just going to go ahead and pull it through. You can of course adjust it by pulling on the yarn. Now we're going to start the next round with a double crochet. Go ahead and wrap the yarn over your hook, and we're going to insert it inside the first stitch here. Hook it to the yarn and pull up a loop. Now yarn over and pull it through all 3 loops. And once you've done that, go ahead and chain 1, and this will act as our first double crochet. Now we're going to be doing 2 more double crochets, To the top of this stitch, we're going to place a marker there because this is where we'll be closing out the round. And then we're going to do the third double crochet, insert it inside the stitch, pull up a loop. Now we're going to complete the stitch at the bottom, but we're not going to complete the stitch at the top, at least not with this color. Now I want you to take your other color. I'm going to take the pink. I'm going to wrap it around my finger like so. Yarn over and pull it through to complete the stitch. Now you can always pull on the yarn to make the tail shorter, and once it's to your liking, go ahead and bring it forward so that we can yarn over. And we're just going to go ahead and complete our next double crochet. So yarn over, insert it inside the stitch and pull up a loop. Pull it through the first two, pull it through the last two. That's our first double crochet. And we're gonna go ahead and do our second. And we're gonna do the third stitch the same way we did the green. So we're gonna complete the stitch at the bottom, and to the top, we're gonna take the green and we're gonna pull it through to complete the stitch. And then we're gonna continue with the green for 3 more stitches. So 1, 2, complete the stitch at the bottom, and then to the top we're going to just go ahead and pull through the pink yarn, and for the next 3 stitches we're going to do it in pink. And we're pretty much going to be repeating this process going all the way around. So you see we have 3 green, 3 pink, 3 green, 3 pink, 3 green, and then we're going to start with the pink for the next 3 stitches, and we're just going to complete that going all the way around. So I've completed the pattern going all around. Now the last stitch falls right here, and this would have been the stitch that I used to close out the round. Now insert the hook inside that stitch and pull up a loop and complete the stitch at the bottom there. And then we're just going to go ahead and use the green to complete the stitch at the top. Now once you've completed that, go ahead and make the loop larger here, and we're going to use that to close out the round. So remove the stitch marker, insert the hook from the back, place the hoop on the hook, and we're just going to go ahead and pull that through. And you can of course pull on the yarn to adjust it to your liking. Now just a recommendation, you're gonna want to pull on the green here that we used to close out the round so that there isn't an incremental amount of space between the last pink stitch that we did here and the first green stitch that we would have done there. Now to complete the first stitch, we're going to yarn over a hook and insert it from the bottom, pulling up a loop, and then we're going to pull the yarn through all 3 loops that would have been on the hook. and then chain 1, and this will act as our first double crochet. And then we're going to complete our second double crochet, placing the marker to the top of this stitch, and this stitch will always be the stitch used to close out the round. And then we're going to complete our third. And then we're just pretty much going to continue the stitch pattern as we have been doing, or as we did in the first round. So 1, 2, and then in the third stitch, we complete it at the bottom and use another color, the green here, to complete the stitch at the top. So go ahead and do that, going all the way around, and then I will show you how to go about closing out the round. The last stitch, I'm going to complete a double crochet, but I'm not going to be changing out the color to the top. I'm going to continue with the pink at the end, and the reason for that is because each checker box here will be completed in 2 double crochets. So I've completed the round, and I'm going to change the color in the next round. So I'm going to be starting the round with pink instead of green and going all around. So I'll just demonstrate. Close out the round in exactly the same way as we've done so far. So make that bigger. Remove the marker, insert your hook, and pull it through. Now go ahead and make the first double crochet of the round. So yarn over, place it under the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull it through all loops on the hook, and then chain 1. And then we're just going to go ahead and complete a double crochet in the next stitch. And then complete the third stitch in the same way as we've done in the previous round. So we're going to change the color at the top, and then we're just going to pretty much continue the pattern going all the way around. So this is how it looks after completing 2 of the checkered squares. So that's 4 rounds in total. So 2 rounds of double crochets will equate to 1 square being done. So once you've completed your squares, you're going to start the next row with the same color where we ended the row. So the next row we'll start with green, and then I'll do another round of green, and then I'm going to switch the colors to pink. So we're going to do that alternatively until we're at the end. So this is how it looks after completing 16 rows. So we would have 8 sets of squares going all the way up. So we're just going to go ahead and close out the round. Now you can see that I haven't changed the color of the yarn, but I'm going to close out the round as we've done previously. So insert your hook at the back of the stitch, hook the loop to the crochet hook and pull it through. Now once you've done that, insert your hook under the stitch here, and we're going to pull through a loop, and we're just going to complete a single crochet. And we're going to be doing single crochets in the color green, going all the way around. And you can actually go ahead and cut the pink yarn. You can release it because we won't be using the pink anymore. And just continue doing single crochets going all around. So this would be our first single crochet. I'm gonna go ahead and place my stitch marker here because that's where we'll be closing out the row. So I've gone ahead and completed 2 rows of single crochets, and now I'm going to go ahead and close out the round. Now I'm also going to be doing slip stitches going all the way around the bag for a nice finish. Now to create your first slip stitch, insert your hook and pull through a loop. And with 2 loops on our hook, we're just going to pull that through the loop already there. And we're going to repeat that going all the way around. And now I'm just going to go ahead and complete the round here. And you're going to want to do the slip stitches up until the point of your first slip stitch. Mine is right here. And once you're there, you can go ahead and cut the yarn. Now after you've cut the yarn, just go ahead and pull it through. And then you can use a crochet needle, insert the yarn inside. And in the stitch that falls right here, which would have been our first slip stitch, you can just go ahead and pull it through. And then we're also going to insert it into the middle of the last stitch here, pulling it all the way through. You can also use the needle to insert the extra yarn into the stitches here at the back of the bag, just to hide it and also to hold it in place. And once you're satisfied with that, you can go ahead and cut the yarn. Now we're going to go ahead and make our handles. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the shorter handles, and to do that go ahead and make 55 chain stitches. To make the handles, we're going to be doing half double crochets. To start, go ahead and yarn over or crochet hook, and then insert the hook into the second stitch. So the second stitch falls here. Go ahead and insert the hook, and we're just going to go ahead and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over once more, and we're going to pull that loop through all the 3 loops that are here on the hook. And that's going to be our first half double crochet, and we're just going to do that in each stitch going all the way down. So just go ahead and continue doing half double crochets until you're all the way at the end. And our last stitch here. Now once you've done all your half double crochets, go ahead and chain 1 and then turn your work. And then in this first stitch right here, we're going to do a half double crochet, and we're gonna do that going all the way down the other end. And I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up here. Remember, we're gonna do the half double crochets until we're at the very last stitch, which is here. Now once you've done that, you can just go ahead and cut your yarn and pull it all the way through. And you can also use your crochet needle in the same way as we did for the bag. We're just gonna go ahead and insert the tail here into the back of these stitches to hide it. And once you're finished, you can just go ahead and cut the end. This is the final product, and you'll need 2 in total for the handles. Now I've already gone ahead and attached 1 strap, and I'm just going to show you how I did that. On the other side, we're going to take our crochet needle and thread it. So insert the yarn. I'm just going to tie it. I'd recommend tying it twice just to ensure that it is really secure. Now take your other strap, and I'm going to just go ahead and count 3 squares from our ends. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to place it at the bottom of what would have been our first row of single crochets. And you're going to take your needle, and in the first stitch here, we're just going to go ahead and insert it into the stitch. Now you're going to want to make this a little bit long just so that you'll have room to stitch across. And we're just going to go ahead and reinsert it into those 2 stitches. Now before closing out the loop, insert your needle on the inside of the loop, and then you're going to pull it through. And that's just going to go ahead and secure it. And I'm going to do that once more. So insert the needle, and before closing out the loop, just insert the needle inside the loop to close it, to tighten. Right? And then we're just going to go ahead and stitch across. And I like to do it twice just to ensure it's secured. Just do the same for the last stitch before closing out the loop. Insert your needle just to ensure that it's secure. Now once you've done that, you can cut both ends. And you can also, and then you're going to do the same on this side. Now this is the final product. You can also add a much larger strap to the ends here if you'd like, so that you have options for how you want to hold the bag, and you can attach it in the exact same way. Now thanks so much for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will get back to you.